trust me, even for an extreme lifestyle like a one-bag life, there are definitely some items that you need to buy on a regular basis to fulfill your basic needs. That's why this video is all about these items that you need to buy regularly if you want to pursue a one-bag life. And at the end of the video, I will give you my best tip on which broad categories you should buy items from for any kind of lifestyle, even if you're not pursuing a one-bag life. So don't miss out. For all of you who are new to my channel, I'm Sven, just an extreme minimalist with less than 150 possessions, whose biggest desire is to live his whole life out of just one carry-on sized backpack. So if you end up liking the video, don't forget to subscribe and like, but most important, share your thoughts at the end of the video and join me on my way to a true one-bag life and to find out how an extreme minimalist lifestyle looks like. But I would say, let's get started. I think every lifestyle comes with its needs. Some need more, some need less. But I'm pretty sure that even your current lifestyle has some needs or some things that you need to regularly buy to maintain or obtain this lifestyle in the long term. And as I mentioned before, even for an extreme lifestyle like a one-bag life, you definitely need to buy some things on a regular basis if you want to obtain this lifestyle for a long term. I actually thought, after being a minimalist and then an extreme minimalist, that my journey towards a one-bag life would free me from these purchases that I need to make on a regular basis. But I very quickly found out that this is not the case. Even though I'm possessing a lot less than I possessed before, even as an extreme minimalist, there are still some things or some items that I need to buy on a regular basis to, as I mentioned, obtain my lifestyle for the long term. And even though I don't want these items or I don't like to make these purchases like every other week or every other month, there will be still part of this lifestyle as well. But just to make sure, when I talk about regular purchases or regular items that I buy, I don't refer to items that I need like every day or every week. I just more talk about items that I would buy a couple of months, so after a couple of months, or maybe once or twice a year. So I'm not talking about like toiletries or medicine in this case. But let's start with an easy one that you can actually find almost everywhere, is very cheap and in my opinion a big game changer for a one-bag life. And these are actually Ziploc bags. I mean, it sounds maybe a little bit silly, but Ziploc bags are a real game changer for a one-bag life. Because for me, it's one of the most versatile items that you can carry inside of your bag. So you can buy these very cheap ones that are very thin, but also sealable here at the top, but you can also buy like these higher quality ones that are a little bit more rugged and can fit more things. But in general, I would say Ziploc bags are very good for a lot of reasons. First of all, you can store items there that you don't want to leak. So if you have got some liquids, you can definitely put them in a Ziploc bag and just put them inside your bag without having the fear that it leaks the whole bag. On the other side, you can put items in there like maybe electronic items that you want to, I would say, secure before other things are leaking on them. So I would say these are very versatile. You can put food in there, you can put even sometimes dirty clothes in there, what I actually do sometimes when they are like very stinky from food or whatever. And these will be a definite game changer. So I highly recommend having multiple Ziploc bags always inside of your bag in different kind of sizes. So some maybe can fit your documents, some can, as I said, fit some clothes or some food. And always be prepared to get them because they will after time tear apart. So you definitely need to buy more of them through the years. The next thing that you will regularly buy if you want to pursue a one-bag life are definitely clothes. And if you followed my channel for a longer time, I talk a lot about cutting down to the essentials, especially when you want to have a one-bag life out of just one carry-on size backpack. So if you just size down everything to the essentials, you will quickly notice that your clothes will be worn much more often, because clothes are always a part of your life that you can very easily I would say, spend and have a lot of clothing things. But when you just have the essentials, you will wear them much more often, which will give your clothes much more tear and wear. So definitely be prepared that at some point, if you have already cheap clothes that are prone to holes and everything, that you will definitely need to buy more clothes in the long run. But also, if you have like very expensive clothes of merino or some very nice fiber, you definitely need to buy them much more often than you would be used before. So just be prepared for that. And if we're talking about clothes, let's not forget your storage options. And when I'm talking about storage options, I mean packing cubes like these, or your pouches that you use for multiple different things like your toiletries or your tech. Because I think if you live out of just one backpack, you will use these pouches, you will use your storage options daily, which means especially the zippers and the material at the front will have very heavy use. And yes, you can definitely spend a lot of money on like packing cubes and pouches, but I can very honestly say that at some point most of these zippers will break at some point. You will get holes in here, or if you have a double-sided packing cube like this one, you get some holes in the side where your, I would say, dirty clothes is stored. So definitely be prepared, no matter how good your storage options will be. And I personally think you should always have storage options in your bag because it makes your bag more efficient and more easy to use. That these will break over time, and you definitely need to replace these at some point in your journey. And let's talk about the category of items that you will definitely spend the most money on because you buy them regularly, even if I would say you don't want to or you don't have to. And these items are, I would say, things that sound in your mind like very useful, but in the end are very unnecessary at all. And these items are some of these multifunctional items, things that are labeled as travel items, like these travel, what is this? A travel sheet where you can put it on your bed if it's very bad, your bed, or very dirty. And I'm very sure, because I'm speaking from my own personal experience, that you will buy a lot of things that you would think of as very useful for your bag to make your one bag life much easier. But it maybe 1 or 2 weeks later you realize you don't need them at all, and you try to get rid of them as soon as you can. And as I said, these will be the most, I would say, cost that you will have in a one bag life, because you will look for or research for these items a lot, and you will buy some of them even if they're maybe a little bit more pricier. But as I said, most of them are very unnecessary, so I would definitely say think twice before you buy such items. And I already made a video talking about these items that you definitely don't need for a one bag life. But yeah, as I said, from my own experience, most of my money I've spent on regularly buying items are these really unnecessary items that just I thought were useful for my one bag life. And lastly, for sure, you need to buy items like medicine or toiletries for your one bag life, because you will use them on a regular basis. But I wouldn't say I would mention them in this video just because you need these items for every kind of lifestyle. So just to make sure, yes, of course, you need toiletries and medicine as well. As you can see, even for an extreme lifestyle like a one bag life, there are definitely some items you need to purchase on a regular basis to obtain this lifestyle for a long term. And I would personally say all of them or most of these items are a very purposeful purchase that will help you in providing or in obtaining this journey towards a real one bag life. And as I said, there are maybe 1 or 2 things where I would say, or maybe one thing I would say, you definitely should look out if you need to buy these items that are these unuseful items. But in general, I would say most of them are very purposeful. But now that you know what the things are that you need to buy on a regular basis for a one bag life, here is my best tip on how you can find out what broader categories of items you need to buy for any kind of lifestyle, even if you're not pursuing a one bag life. Definitely the first thing needs to be the things to cover your basic needs. As I mentioned, like medicine or toiletries, so everything that you need in broader categories for every kind of lifestyle and your daily life should be covered in the first place. So make sure you have everything that you need. Even though it takes up some space for some people, it's definitely worth the money and spending the time and space in your bag to get like the things you need for your basic needs. In addition to that, I would say clothes are a very essential or very necessary thing to every kind of lifestyle, but I'm not talking about the next cool looking piece that you just want to have because it looks cool or you think you need this piece. I'm actually talking about clothes that makes your lifestyle easier or more comfortable. Especially maybe when your lifestyle is very physical lifestyle, if you're pursuing some kind of sport or so, some good fitting clothes or clothes that make you feel more breathable, or I don't know what you're pursuing in kind of physical activity, will help you make the lifestyle much more enjoyable. So in my opinion, clothes are always a necessary thing for every kind of lifestyle, and you should definitely invest the money and invest the time for researching for the best clothes that you can find to make, as I said, your lifestyle more easy, maybe even more approachable and in the end more comfortable for you, so you want to pursue your lifestyle for a longer time as well. And lastly, health-related items. It maybe sound a bit general, I would say, but I think every lifestyle has a health aspect to it. Maybe the best example will be a one-bag life. I would say definitely invest money and time for your health. And for a one-bag life, this is more or less your bag. So you need to have a well-cushioned backpack, you need to have good backpack straps, and I would say a hip belt as well. So there are definitely aspects for every kind of lifestyle, especially when you're pursuing a very physical lifestyle where you can put your focus on health. As I said, the critical part in a one-bag life is your bag, because you're carrying most of the time your backpack. So look for things that will improve maybe your posture or reduce the back pain that you have when you're carrying a bag. And this goes, as I said, for every kind of lifestyle. You need to find the health-related aspect in your lifestyle and try to find a way to make it as good as possible, or to keep this part as healthy as possible, and spend your money on that rather than on other stuff. And honestly, I think the rest of the items are just fluff. You definitely don't need the latest tech or the coolest miscellaneous items that you would think will have much more purpose than your current one. Because I think the jump from one generation to another, or maybe the next cool, very good item for your lifestyle, maybe isn't that necessary at all, because the things you're already having are working just fine. So just skip these things and focus on the real things that you need to improve your own lifestyle. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and like, but most important, share a comment down below with the things that are necessary to your current lifestyle. The next video will be about all the things that I am currently carrying in my bag for my personal journey on a one-bag life. In the meantime, you can watch my last video where I show you why you shouldn't start a one-bag life at all. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.